Before I get started, Tony Moore has spoken. Wasn't that awesome? It was awesome. So, we need to hear more stuff like that. I'm here today. I'm very fortunate. This is such an honor for me. This is an association that I have many, many spectacular, close, wonderful friends who have lifted me at a lot of times during my career that I needed to be carried. And so I'm grateful that you're allowing me to share some spectacular information and ideas. I'm going to start today by what made me take 16 years to figure this out. And then this afternoon, I'm going to show you how I run and get 30 to 50 appointments a week by just asking questions. And then I have a surprise for you. I'm going to include a little bit of it in this afternoon, but it was designed to be shared with you tomorrow. I have several sales ideas for you, but one of them is a sales idea that if you pick it up and take it home with you after this meeting, you will be a year ahead of everybody else in the industry. Literally a year ahead of everybody else in the industry. We need you all to be all you can be. So please, I'm very grateful. I don't know if you can tell, this is probably my 3,000th speech. I'm so nervous right now I could just in front of you, but I like being nervous. And so let me start this way. This is the greatest time ever to be an insurance and financial advisor, period. There's never been a time like this, ever. Second, this is the greatest time ever to sell cash value life insurance. If you sell cash value life insurance for the first time ever in the history of the business, you are the competition. Nobody can touch you. It's not even close anymore. You're the competition. I'm going to prove to everybody in this room, no matter what company you sell for the finest life insurance company in America, period, bar none. And it's easy to prove, and you need to walk out of here knowing that. But it sounds all real certain and everything, but you know, I used to sit in audiences and I used to watch Ben Feldman and Roger Zener and Tom Wolfe and Charlie Tremendous Jones and all of those people. And I would watch them give these fabulous speeches. And please, you guys, I was the first one to run up to the front and shake their hand and say, oh, that was the greatest talk I've ever seen in the history of my world. And by the time I got to that door back there, that door right there, I was pretty sure that I couldn't do anything that they were showing me to do. By the time I sat down in my car, sad to say, for 16 years I was positive I couldn't do what they were sharing with me that I could do. And so I had all these wonderful people showing me how I could better my career, and I was terrified out of my mind that if I tried anything they were sharing with me, I wouldn't make the $30,000 to $50,000 a year I was making. And I got uglier and more bitter and more angry. I hated all of you. You have no idea. I hated your guts. I couldn't stand to be in a room with you. I was the cancer in my agency. We would bring a new agent into our agency. I'd put my arm around them. I'd say, yeah, it's a really great company. They don't issue anything, but they're really good. Commissions are awesome. You're never going to see them. I destroyed so many agents' careers the first 16 years I was in the business. You have to understand, I will never be able to make up for it. Want to know how bad of an agent I was? I'll give you a couple of examples. I was so bad of an insurance agent that I'm pretty sure I'm now the reason there's compliance in our industry. No, you really have to get this. See, if someday somebody's going to give me enough time to let me tell you what a dirtball I was. I worked for a company called Bankers Life and Casualty. We had Paul Harvey. I remember one time I got a postcard. The postcard said, "Dear Paul Harvey, God bless you, Paul Harvey. Will you please send an agent to our home to sell us insurance?" I blew that sale. Do you understand? There's no way to get you to understand how bad I was. See, the thing that's really important for you all to understand is that I know all the excuses because I made them. You know, in agencies everywhere, they usually have a Monday morning meeting. I hated Monday morning meetings. My aunt died 73 times. I had 46 flat tires. Do you understand? I made all the excuses. I did everything I could not to succeed, and yet, this is why I adore NAIFA so much. People reached down into the abyss and saved me. You know, I know there's not a lot of guests here, but I want to deviate for a minute because I want you to understand. I travel all over this country talking about why we should be members of this fabulous organization. And the number one reason, beyond any other reason, is study after study after study after study says, if you're a member of NAIFA, you make more money than the people who aren't members of NAIFA, period, end of quote. They just have a brand new study at New York Life, $30,000 to $40,000 a year more from their agents who are members of NAIFA than are not members of NAIFA. Astonishing. I live 100 yards from Northwestern Mutual. Their agents, they're very candid about it, make more money than that are members of NAIFA than the ones who are not. State Farm, another one. Their members make more money. I have a guy that I started with 4 years ago at State Farm. He walked up to me, no kidding, and he said, I was speaking in Huntington Beach, California. He said, Van, I hate selling insurance and I hate State Farm. And I wanted there to be a pregnant pause, so I counted to 3 in my head. And I said, man, would it be okay if I ask you a question? He said, yeah. I said, have you completely lost your mind? He laughed and he said, well, that wasn't what I was expecting you to say. And I said, well, what if we could teach you 8 or 10 questions that if you learn those questions so that you can say them spectacularly, would you learn them to my satisfaction? He said, yes, I will. Last year he finished 13th in the company out of 29,000 agents. These are not hard things to learn. That's what I'm going to go dramatically out of my way for you to understand. These are learned skills. Second reason to be a member of NAIFA. You know, I didn't think I would ever feel this way about Florida, but I've been here for 3 days with my daughter and my son and my daughter-in-law, and we've been in the parks. And it's been 95, feels like 100 and a million. And pretend that you have 5 appointments here in Orlando, and it's 95 degrees when you start, and you completely blow the first 2 appointments in the morning. You completely destroy the 2 appointments in the afternoon. They're just awful. You're sweating. You actually can smell yourself a little bit. You're so tired and sweaty and exhausted. But you get to your 7 o'clock appointment, and I'm telling you, you give the best presentation that you've ever given in your life. You're smoking hot. You're sitting this high off of your seat. You're so good at this sales presentation. You slam it out there, and you look across at the customer and you say, can I ask you something? Do you want to start that semi-annually or annually? And they look back at you and they say, well, I don't think we can afford that. Please listen very carefully. If you're not a member of NAIFA, you'll believe them. The biggest sale you ever make in your career is to yourself. Please teach that to everybody you come across. If you don't believe, why should they believe? If you can make an excuse for why you shouldn't belong to your professional organization, then you'll accept their reasons for why they shouldn't do what they do. And the most important reason of all, this is the most important. I can't tell you how much I love being in this room. We want to be around like-minded people who believe as we believe because it rubs off. Do you understand? Me standing next to some of the people in this room, I'm seeing some of the people in the back that I just adore. I'm telling you, they take care of you. They build you up. They make you believe stronger than you ever believed before you knew you even believed the way you were supposed to believe. You want to be around like-minded people. You want to be in this room with these people because it does rub off on you. So here's what happened. I failed for the first 16 years I was in the business. I never made more than $30,000 to $50,000 a year. I was ugly, terrible, awful. And the opposite of courage in our industry is not cowardice. The opposite of courage in our industry is conformity. At the best time ever to be an insurance and financial professional, we all conform to what we think is the way we have to be. I sat out in these audience, and I'm telling you, did anybody around long enough that they ever saw John Savage speak? Okay. I would sit in the audience and I'd go, there's no way I can do what he'd do. Do you understand? I would come to these to get lifted up, and they would put these wonderful speakers up here, and here's what I'd walk out of the room saying: there's no way I can do what they do. And so for 16 years, I didn't do what they did. I really, really struggled. I really, really hated everything about this business. And then I lucked out. I got fired because I would have never changed on my own. And when I got fired, I called up this guy named Jim Gaylord, who lived in Highland Park, Illinois, was the vice president of the training of the company, vice president of training of the company that I got fired from. I said, Jim, you're not going to believe this. They fired me. And I was crying, sobbing. I don't know why, because I hated this business. And he was so loving to me, so wonderful. He said, Van, you're a moron. He said, they really should have fired you 10 years ago. And then he said the magic words, I can save your career. I said, oh my God, what do I have to do? He said, from now on, every time you're in a home or a business, I want you to take care of those people whether you make a commission or not. Now I'm embarrassed again. You know what I said to him? I said, Jimmy, if I do that, I'll starve to death. He said, okay, well, then you're fired. And I said, no, you don't understand. He said, man, no, you don't understand. You either do what I tell you or you're fired. Now, why do I tell you this group of people this? Because I had to be painted into that corner over there before I was willing to accept anybody to help me. Please listen very carefully. When I wake up in the morning, I don't look in the mirror and go, oh, baby, top of the table. When I look in the mirror, I go, oh my God, are you old? I can't believe how overweight you are. I'm scared to death you're all going to find out I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm terrified every single day of my life. It's called negative self-talk, and you all have it. And I had to learn how to overcome that. And I didn't realize it was actually very easy because I battled not to do it. And what I was taught, that the secret of building self-esteem is by making a decision to do something for somebody else. The secret of happiness is not about what you get, it's about what you give. You could have told me that for the first 16 years I was in the business, I wouldn't have known what the heck you were talking about. So that was the first year, 17th year in the business that I made the $1 Million Round Table. 18th year I made core of the table. Now 29 years in a row I've made top of the table. The only thing you'll ever hear me brag about, the only time you're ever going to hear me talk about me for the rest of the talk, is that there are now only 156 agents in the history of the business that have made top of the table more than 20 times, and I'm one of them, and I was a dirtball. Now why am I keep telling you that? Because listen very carefully. This is a learned skill. Write it down. It has nothing to do with being charming or good looking or brave or intelligent or any of that. It has everything to do with, are you willing to learn the skills that you need? And here's the first word of the day. Are you willing to practice them until you're a professional at it? Practice is the number one word of the day. Practice. Will you do me a favor? Tell me something honest. And I know you were. When you were younger, were you good at sports? Yeah. What was your favorite sport that you were really good at? Basketball. Great at basketball. Now listen to what I'm going to ask you. If you would have read 50 books about basketball, studied like crazy, would you be any good at basketball? What was the only thing that would make you any good at basketball? Playing basketball, practice. And the best basketball players, were they the ones that had to think about what they were going to do next? Or were they the ones that could instinctively react to the situations?
They were Larry Bird.
Larry Birds, he said. Instinctive. Guys, do you get that? It's really important that everybody in this room gets this. You're a top-of-the-table agent, don't you see? You just got to develop some questions, practice them, and then share those questions with everybody. Everybody in here is a top-of-the-table agent. It is a learned skill. It's not about being charming or naturally having a gift of gab. I have none of that. Now, I'm going to really blow your minds because I don't tell audiences a lot. I'm really very shy. I like to be alone. I'm self-conscious about my looks, about my weight, about my age, about everything. I'm a loner, a dead-bang loner. But somebody said, do you want to learn how to do this? And I said, yes, I do. And they taught me the skills, and I practiced the skills, and they are learned. If you make a decision that a year from now you want to learn the questions and you practice them so that you can ask everybody, could you be top of the table? Absolutely. All of you can. It's not about, see, that's what we do wrong. We watch all these fabulous, amazing peoples. Ben Feldman, Roger Zener, Tom Wolfe, Charlie Tremendous Jones. He used to blow me away. And I'd sit there and go, I can't do that. That's why I'm taking so much time right now to make sure that you understand. There's nothing other than average about me. I'm just average. But somebody took the time and said, hey, do you want to learn some questions? And will you learn them so that they sound conversational? Not like a pitch, like having a great conversation with somebody. And if you have a great conversation with somebody, isn't it true then that people love to give money to people they have relationships with? And the only way to build a relationship with them is to have a great conversation with them about stuff that matters. And how do you have a conversation about stuff that matters? You ask them great questions about things that they should be paying attention to. Are taxes going to be higher in the future? Do you want to pay those taxes? Do you get where I'm going? It's really, really important. So I want to see, I used to not take this much time doing this, but I really need for you to understand there's nothing special about me other than I practice like a crazy person. I practice and practice and practice. You don't want to sit next to me on an airplane. You're in trouble. Last year, the Cubs and the Brewers tied. And the playoff game to see who was going to make the playoffs was in Wrigley Field. And I went to Wrigley Field and I sat next to a Cubs fan with some friends that I had also that got me in the game. Not only did the Cubs lose, but the poor guy next to me bought some insurance. Because I just sat there. I didn't talk about me. I asked about him. Do you know why this is such a great opportunity for young people? I'm so excited to see all the young people in the room. Do you know the average age of an insurance agent in this country is 59 years old? And we're all old white guys. You know, I have to take a minute. If you look way in the back in the right, that's my daughter Vanessa, named after me. And she's a lawyer in New York City, works for the 5th largest law firm in the world. So please, some of you that have read my columns and my newsletters, Vanessa edits everything I write. You would think I was, you wouldn't think. And it's like she's inside of my head. And I used to be very protective of my words. And she said to me one day, she said, you know, Dad, all great writers have great editors. And then I was set free. I would write down everything I felt, and she made it look like I knew what I was talking about. So, it's really, really important that you understand that you guys can do this. Please, will you do me a favor? Just help me a second. Will you raise your hand if you understand that you can really come up here and write Van Miller kind of production, and you can do it within 30 to 60 days? Raise your hand if you believe it right now. Awesome, because you can. And that's what I'm going to show you this afternoon. I'll give you the questions. I'll show you where to go and get them for free. I'm going to make sure that you have an arsenal where nobody can say no to you. And then I'm going to give you some ideas tomorrow morning that it's just going to blow your mind. I can't write this stuff up fast enough. I work in an area where I call on people that have 800 to 2,500 square foot houses and small businesses. Please listen to me. I had my best year I've ever had last year. I picked up $45 million, and I only work 8 months a year, in 800 to 2,500 square foot houses, because they're the only people with any money, if you really think about it. I pick up $1 million a week every week I'm home working. Wouldn't that be fun? Everybody in Milwaukee thinks I'm a numbers runner. Guys, these are the jokes. You gotta help. Second, very, very important. My daughter is going to correct me when I get done this morning because we didn't have a chance to work on it enough. But I think this is an industry for women. Women, if you'll laugh with me, actually ask questions that they really want to hear the answers to. They like to build relationships. Women do not ask questions so they can reply. Women ask questions so they can understand. I'm working very hard to learn that skill. This is where I'm going to stumble a little bit. This is an industry for blacks. We need representation. Everybody that's of a different nationality or a different color, Latinos. Do you know by 2040 the number one population in the United States will be Latino? Number 2 will be blacks. Number 3 will be old white guys. Come on, you can laugh. It's going to be Asians. It's going to be the LGBTQ community. We need to include advisors that can go and talk to them, and here's why, and then I'll get to the heart of this. Listen to me very carefully, and you have to write this down, and I'm not going to ask you, I'm going to tell you. Government will not be able to take care of the American people going forward at any level. Federal, state, county, city, township. That's why it's the greatest time ever to be an insurance agent. Because in America, you know what's so great about America? I don't need the government to be successful. I have the ability, because I live in this country, that I can develop a situation for me, my family, and my business where I can be successful without anybody else supporting me. Second, Wall Street. Think they're going to take care of anybody in this country? This is all about to hit the fan, you guys. Banks. See, insurance agents never understand the difference between banks and insurance companies. We have the money to navigate through what's about to happen in this country. Banks are highly, highly leveraged. Highly leveraged. But I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. We're going to have to bail out every bank in America next downturn. You have to know this. You have to understand this. We have the ability to serve the American people, and we're the right mix. Look at all the women in this room. Look at all the young people. We need to have more of them. So I've made it my deal that any woman that will allow me to help them get better, guys, I'll give you my phone number right now. It's in my, I don't have it in my pocket because I didn't want it to, but this is my cell phone number. Now, you know what? Everybody says, how can you give away your cell phone number? Because here's what I know. Out of this whole room, only 2 or 3 of you will call me. It's sad. I'm a top-of-the-table agent telling you I will do anything I can to help you if you'll just call me. I will never impose on you. You have to call me. 414-881-6246. That is my cell phone. Best way would be to text me first and say, hey, Van, do you have a minute? Can I talk to you about this idea or this idea? What about this question? How could I get in front of more people? We'll do everything in our power to help you. 414-881-6246. Now, can I ask everybody a favor? Will you do me a favor? How long have you been an insurance agent? 7 years. 7 years. I have a question. Do you sell some life insurance? Some? Perfect. Why is your life insurance company the best life insurance company in America? Well, whichever one you're selling, which one's the best one? Why is the one you're selling the best one in America? The best product. Do you sell life insurance, ma'am? Why is your company the best life insurance company in America? Old A+ rated. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Why is your life insurance company the best in America? Because they're going to pay when you die. Fake news, fake news, fake news. Why is your company the best life insurance company in America? Guys, do you see what's so amazing about this? We sell the greatest product ever designed in the mind of a human being, and we don't know how to articulate how amazing it is. People come up to me all the time and they say, life insurance is a lousy investment. You know what I say to them all the time? I say, boy, I hear that all the time. Why should you say that? Because you want to respect their opinion. Make sense? I hear that all the time, but may I ask you a question? Did you know that's actually demeaning to cash value life insurance? Do you know that they only want to limit it to a discussion about its investment prowess? They don't want to tell you all the other things you can do with the same dollar? Would you be interested in finding out all the additional things you could do with the same dollar? See, I don't here, write this down. Professionals never get offended, ever. I'm going to tell you why you have the best life insurance in America in a minute. But you got to get this. We keep getting offended that people say, annuities, have you ever heard this guy? I hate annuities and so should you. I went to my broker-dealer and said, can I take out an ad that says, I hate Ken Fisher and so should you? They won't let me get away with that. Want to know something that's interesting that people don't know? Ken Fisher invests heavily in annuity companies. But better than that, do you know that he also says he will pay the surrender charges if you take your money from an annuity and go to his company? If you read the fine print, what if in the first year you decide to leave Ken Fisher? He only reimburses 20% of the surrender charge that you had to pay. You have to stay there with Ken Fisher for 5 years. Kind of sounds like an annuity to me, doesn't it? See, they don't tell you all of that stuff. Okay, you guys ready? Why do you have I'm going to actually read it to you because you help. Your company has the finest products in America. Don't leave this meeting not understanding that. Why is that so? Because you are the reason your products are the best. You make sure they do what was promised. It doesn't matter who you work for. Are there going to be lots of changes in our country as economics and interest rates and stock markets? And I have another question for you guys. If the interest rates on a 10-year U.S. government bond stay at 1.5 for a long period of time, and a 30-year U.S. government bond pays 1.9, how are any of the illustrations that you've made over the past 5 years and going forward going to be true? They're not even going to be close. Ready? Ready? Watch. When you're a professional, you know how to deal with that. This is what's so cool about cash value life insurance. You ready? I got an answer for you. You didn't think I was going to set you up with bad news. Bad news doesn't sell. Write this down. Bad news doesn't sell anything. Access to opportunity sells everything. Okay? Bad news doesn't sell. So here's the answer. I go to my customers and I call them on the phone and I say, man, are you watching what the government's doing with these interest rates and everything? It's really harming the design we had inside of this plan that we developed. And so we might not be able to do internally what we talked about, but I got a surprise for you. Do you know we have access to this money? And every time these guys screw up, we can take advantage externally because I'm your agent, and we'll make sure that this policy does what we promised you it would do. Would you be okay with that? When do you want to get started? Tuesday. Do you understand what I just said? Do you have access to the money inside of a cash value life insurance policy? Of course you do. Can you access it at any time? Of course you can. If the stock market crashes and the interest rates keep going down, can you access the money to maybe take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself? Of course you can. So you have the ability to let the policy do what it does internally, but you as the agent can make sure it does what it's supposed to do externally. I've actually chased around after all my customers, and I'm saying to them, hey, are you aware that the government is really messing with all the internal makeups of these policies? What if we could develop a strategy that will allow us to still have success? Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, why should you do that as soon as you get home from this meeting? Here's the answer, you guys, because there's going to be other agents out there who aren't here at this meeting who are going to go and say, see, this policy didn't do what they promised you. You should buy my policy. And they're going to illustrate something that's not possible to happen, and you're going to have a mess. We don't need to have a mess. All you got to do is be honest with your prospects and clients and say, look, we can develop strategies that will allow you to win. Second word of the day. First word of the day was what? Practice. Second word of the day is questions. I don't tell anybody anything because I don't know anything. And I'm bragging about that. I actually have a sales presentation. You want to hear it? I walk up to people all the time and I say, aren't you tired of every time you have a guy like me show up or a woman like me show up? Woman like me, isn't that funny? I'm going fast because I already feel like I'm running out of time. A person like me shows up and they tell you they can do all this stuff and it turns out they don't know anything. Doesn't that happen to our prospects and clients a lot? So I say, would it be okay we have a little fun with me? I always say, will you have a little fun with me? Would it be okay if I prove to you that I don't know anything? It's antithetical to what they're used to hearing. I'm bragging that I don't know anything. May I ask you a few questions? Let's have some fun together. I'm going to move around. First thing, President of the United States, doesn't matter who it is, considered to be the most powerful person on the planet. They have access to advisors, they have access to tools, they have access to insider knowledge, all kinds of stuff that we don't know about. I have a question for you. With everything that they have at their disposal, have they been able to fix the economy? They really haven't, have they? Second most powerful person on the planet, head of the Federal Reserve. Could actually argue they're the ultimate financial insider, aren't they? They print the money. They're the head of all the banks. They're almost as powerful as the President of the United States. Yet right now, think about this, they're afraid to raise short-term, not long-term, short-term interest rates by 0.25% because they're worried that they could destroy the world's economy if they raise interest rates by 0.25%. So let me ask you something. Wouldn't I be lying to you if I told you I knew something? Wouldn't I? Wouldn't I? So that just begs a couple of more questions. If nobody knows what's going to happen, should you leave all your stuff in danger and in jeopardy? Or would it be better to design a strategy that would allow you to, first of all, not be harmed by any of this stuff that they're doing right now, And second of all, gosh, what if you could put yourself in a position to take advantage of it? Wouldn't that be killer? So I just spent most of the presentation telling them I don't know anything. Every single one of them makes an appointment with me. See, here's one of my favorite words. Be authentic with people. We don't know everything. Anybody in here that thinks they know a lot about economics, think of an iceberg. You only know the little part that's sticking out of the water. The rest of it, we don't know all the stuff they're doing. So the words of the day, questions and practice. Want to hear how I sell a cash value life insurance policy? Raise your hand if you want to hear it. I'm going to read it because I'm still nervous. But you'll see in a little bit I can do it standing on my head. What if there was a way to use the progressive nature of the income tax law to reallocate inefficient and ineffective forever tax money, and you could turn it into never tax money? What if this strategy would allow you to use leverage to provide long-term care benefits, reduced or completely eliminated income tax liability, tax-free lifetime retirement income, protection from investment losses, opportunity for investment gains, while maintaining almost complete access to the money? If you knew something like this was available, at the very least, that's the transition, at the very least, wouldn't you want to know about something like that? That's what they say. They don't know it does all of this. See, you guys, this is another thing I hope that you'll take away today. I want you to have some takeaways. People don't hate life insurance. People don't know a thing about life insurance. Nothing. They don't know anything about life. People think that we pay money to dead people. We have never paid a penny to a dead person. Ever. No, but you're laughing because you know they don't know it's true. And then I get in their face. Watch, I'm going, well, this is exactly how I do it. I want to show you how I do it. I get in their face and I say, but gosh, if you think I want you to die, I don't. What if I could show you how to use the living benefits of this so that you could take advantage of every investment opportunity, never lose any money, reduce or completely eliminate your income tax liability, cover long-term care, but isn't this a really good thing? Ready? What if you don't need long-term care? Well, with this strategy, you wouldn't waste 1 cent of premiums on it. That money would still be there for you and your family. And we can give you an income tax-free retirement, and when you're completely done using the money, we'll be able to use what's ever left over for your family, your business, or any charity that you have interest in, also income tax-free. Gosh, if you knew something like that was available, come on, at the very least, wouldn't you want to know about something like that?
Now we should.
You got it? We should be selling the living benefits of cash value life insurance. It's called life insurance. It's not called death insurance. It's there to take care of people that are alive. And it's there, if you die, it's there to take care of the living people that we love, the businesses that we care about, the charities that we have interests in. And we need to brag about it, talk about it. Because America doesn't know this. Here's the problem. You guys are cursed with what is called certain knowledge. You think because you know it, everybody else knows it. It's the biggest mistake we make. I did that for 16 years. 16 years. Now I ask everybody. I walk into bars sometimes. I don't hardly drink. Ask my daughter. I don't hardly drink. But I'll sit in the bar. If there's a whole bunch of people in the bar, watch, I walk in the bar and say, bartender, give me 2 or 3 shots. I'm so upset. The American people are about to get slaughtered, and they have no idea. All they have to do is do a couple of little things, and not only will they not get slaughtered, they'd actually be able to take advantage of it. I'm so upset. In fact, give me another shot. And you watch. As I'm standing there at the bar, I don't even drink the shots. People are tapping me. Excuse me, what the hell was that you were talking about? And I'm shy. But I practiced it and practiced it. That's what I'm hoping you're seeing as you're watching me for these 2 days, is that you'll see that it's practiced, it's rehearsed, it's practiced, it's rehearsed. The greatest actor of all time, in my opinion, Sir Anthony Hopkins. They're interviewing him on Dateline. I'll never forget it. They said, Sir Anthony, you're such a fabulous actor. He says, oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. He said, how do you do it? And he said, oh, it's actually very easy. Very easy? What are you talking about? And he said, yeah, it's actually very easy. He said, every time I get a script for a new movie or a play, he said, here's what I do. I read my part and everybody else's part out loud 150 times. He says, you know what happens after 150 times? I don't have to think about what I'm going to say next. I can listen to the other actors and actresses. Isn't that what selling insurance and financial products is about? Listening to the other actors and actresses. Making sure we hear what they want. Here's the other thing before I go too much further. Stop getting personal when you meet people right away. I want to punch people in the face that have learned this question. If it's 5 years from now, what do you want to be different than 5 years ago? Like that's some kind of great opening question. If you ask me that, I'm punching you in the face. I just met you. I'm not telling you anything. Did you lose any money during the last downturn? And if you're a man, here's what a man will answer. So fast will make your head, yeah, but I made it all back already. And now you're toast. Where do you go? See, I ask for opinions. People love to share their opinion. Do you think there's going to be another financial catastrophe like 2007 and 2008 again? Just yes or no? Think taxes will be higher in the future? Man, if you knew they were going to be higher, would you want to pay them? Oh, man. Did I ask him anything about his personal situation? But is he telling me about his personal situation? Because he's sharing his opinions with me. Isn't that the fun? See, it opens up every conversation. You can talk to them about anything. This is not, my daughter's going to punch me in the face when I tell you what I'm about to tell you. She's going to take me aside out there and say, don't ever use that again. I'm telling you. I have at least a dozen women over 65 who have shared with me about affairs they had during their lives. That's how comfortable they are talking to me. Do you understand? They are willing to share everything with me because I ask them and I listen. I don't talk. I don't talk about me. I don't brag about me. I'm top of the table 29 years in a row as the advisor of the year for Senior Market Advisor magazine. I have thousands of clients in 30 states. I have a question for all of you in the room. How many of my clients know any of that? Shout it out. None. Because it isn't about me, it's about who? Them. And so everything I should be doing should be asking them questions. If I wanted to impress somebody, would I brag about me or would I ask about them? See, this is one of my styles. This guy here, he's going to lead our organization, the whole NAIFA. I told him 10 years ago, because that's what he does. He cares about other people. And every time I talk to him, I ask him about him. I don't talk about me. I want to know about him. This is one of our future leaders. Here in Florida, you built this. He'll tell you, you're all part of this. There's another guy in back of the room. He should be the leader of this organization. I love him dearly, but other things came up. If something ever changed, he could easily come back and be the leader of this organization. Here's another thing we get wrong. You have to write these two things down. You must write them down. We do not make people rich. We prevent them from ever being poor. We do not make people rich. We prevent them from ever being poor. And listen to what I'm going to show you. I have 9 studies. 9. We just had an 11-year bull market. The Dow went from, it started in September of 2007 at 14.2. By March of 2009, it was 6,500, and it grew to 27,006 before it stopped. Okay? And yet, according to the Federal Reserve in December, that's the latest date I got the information for, listen to what I'm about to tell you. There's $19.6 trillion of money in money markets, savings accounts, CDs, short-term bond funds, and checking accounts, essentially making nothing. Zero. Because Americans are more concerned with loss than they're ever worried about missing out on gain. If you don't walk out of this meeting understanding that today, then you are giving away your competitive advantage. You are giving away your competitive advantage. They're more concerned with loss than they ever are at missing out on gain, ever. $19.3 trillion. I lied. I said 6 the first time, 3 the second time. It's actually 19.4 trillion. We do not make people rich. We prevent them from being poor. Please, I'm deviating, but here's a simple sale for anybody who can't come tomorrow. Watch this. I go see a woman. She's got $200,000. I say, ma'am, what if we took that $200,000 out of your left pocket, and we took that $200,000 and we put it over here into your right pocket, and I could make it look like $400,000 when you die? She said, what does that mean? I said, well, I have a surprise for you. Let's say you spend the last 2 years of your life in the nursing home, and it's $80,000 the first year and $80,000 the second year. If you never met me, and you had $200,000 in your savings account, you'd only have $40,000 left. But because you did meet me, you took out $160,000, but your death benefit's $400,000. So you used 80% of your money while you were alive. Astonishing. And when you were finally died, your family got the whole amount that you started with replenished, income tax free. I say, watch how I do it. I look at them and I say, do you have any idea how brilliant you are? They go, what are you talking about? I said, you figured out how to use 80% of your money while you're alive, and when you die, the whole pile is replenished. It's amazing. If you don't use the money, you've took $200,000 and guaranteed that it'll be $400,000 income tax free. Then watch. I want to see if you guys really understand what I'm about to do here. I look them in the face and I say, can you imagine if we could get everybody in America to be as intelligent and brilliant as you are, how well off we'd be as a country? What did I just ask for? Answer me. A referral. But did it sound like I was asking for a referral? That's the fun of it. Just by understanding how to do the language, you can change this. She got me 6 referrals. And here's the deal. When I sell life insurance, she said to me, Van, if I give you $200,000, what's it going to earn? I said, at the end of 5 years, you'll have $200,000 in a single premium life. See, some of you guys don't say. I'll explain more about that tomorrow. I sell, you guys ready? You won't believe me. Ready? I sell $300,000 a week of single premium modified endowment contracts. $300,000 a week. Over $1 million a month. And the people say, who do I make the check out? Well, if someone want to make it out to me, one of these days I'm going to get weird and take it. It's the greatest time. Remember I said it's the greatest time ever to sell cash value life insurance? It's the greatest time ever to sell MECs. Take the money from a savings account making nothing, a money market account, a short-term bond fund making nothing. I can transfer it over here to a cash value life insurance policy that's making the same exact amount, but now it looks like $400,000. Oh my God. Do you get what I'm saying? It's that easy. See, I know you want it to be way more complex of a discussion, but they don't understand more complex. They understand simplification. So last 2 things, and then I'll get to where I want to get to before we close. The thing that changed my career, the more invisible in the sales presentation I am, the more sales I make. It's not about me. It's everything about them. Everything. Second, the simpler I make it, the bigger the sale I make. When it's so ridiculously simple, the customer goes, I get that. In fact, I have a guy from Modern Woodman that I taught these skills to. He wrote the largest policy ever at Modern Woodman. Over $600,000 a year life policy. And he'd been to see the guy 3 years previous, and the guy never bought from him. And this time he went and just asked him about 8 questions. That's all he asked him. And he looked at the guy and he said, watch, this is how I sell life insurance. He looked at the guy and he said, so how much value would you like to build for you and your family? And the guy said, I could easily put $600,000-700,000 a year into something like that. See, now it's not a premium. Now it's not a cost. Now it's a value that you're building for you and your family. The words matter, everybody. Words matter. 2 questions of the day. Please remember on everything that we're going to do going forward. First question. Second one is practice. By the way, can I ask the women in the room, this is how I also sell. Everybody raise your hand if this has ever happened to you, man or woman. Have you ever met somebody for the first time and you had such an amazing, glorious conversation with them that after about 20 minutes, you look at them and you go, I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but has that ever happened to you? Raise your hand if it's happened to you. I have a question. Shouldn't every sales presentation be like that? Think about it. That's what makes this become fun. That's what I'm hoping that you guys will learn, that this is fun. Okay, I want to talk about some financial things because I'm trying to set up this afternoon and I have only about 2 hours left this morning. I wanted to see if you were listening. First, can I read you something amazing? Want to hear how much trouble the American people are in? You won't believe this. You ready? Brand new study. In a recent survey, 59% of millennials and 40% of Americans overall think that winning the lottery is a reasonable plan to save for retirement. Listen to this. It goes on. This is a shockingly large percentage. The traditional standby of marrying rich doesn't come anywhere close, with only 3% choosing that option. Do you guys understand how terrified the American people are that they're not going to have enough money to retire? We can help them. We can show them how to not ever lose any money and how to take advantage of opportunities like they're going out of style. Second, we are continually discriminating against women. The World Economic Forum just stated, listen to this, I couldn't believe it until I read the whole part. It will take 200 years for women to achieve economic equality with men. Here's why. It's not because we're intentionally doing it like everybody thinks. Although there's some intention, but it's not. Here's the reason. Women are the caregivers of our children, and women will be the caregivers of our parents. And here's the secret idea I'm going to tell you right now, and then I'm going to tell you this afternoon, and then I'm going to tell you tomorrow, because you can't leave the meeting without knowing this. You guys are selling long-term care policies. You're selling annuities and life insurance that have critical illness riders and long-term care riders, and they are closing more nursing homes in America than they are opening in every state in the United States because they can't make it financially. So here's the sale that will put you at least a year ahead of the rest of the industry. 50 to 80 million non-professional family caregivers will be providing the care of all the people that I'm about to tell you the numbers on going forward. And if they're non-professional and the care is given at home, will these policies pay any benefits? Go like this. No. So, if you learn how to reposition assets, money out of a savings account, money out of a money market account, money out of a bond fund, money out of something, and transfer it from there into a cash value life insurance policy, you can leverage it. Think of families that you know. Husband's working, wife is working, and you can flip it. Because I'm an old guy, I'm going to use the old-fashioned one. Woman's making $40,000 a year. She's the money that makes the family go. The his income is paying for all the bills and all the stuff, and if they don't have her $40,000, they have a cruddy life. And his mom or dad, or your mom and dad get sick, and you have to quit work and go take care of mom. Now the family doesn't have the $40,000 anymore. It's not covered under these other policies because it's not being given by professional care. How do you make up that money? The answer is easy. You transfer the money from a money market savings account into a cash value life insurance. You use the cash value to replenish the $40,000 lost by the mom or the dad, because there's reverse families in that, or 2 men and 2 women. I don't care. But somebody's going to have to be caring for all the grandmas and grandpas in this country. And so now, let's say for 3 years I take $120,000 out and repay you your salary so that your family doesn't get harmed because you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then the day that your mom or dad dies, that $120,000 is replenished so that the family can share in the inheritance. Wouldn't that be amazing? And if they don't ever need it, did they waste any of the money? Did they pay any premiums? Did they still put themselves in a position to take advantage of investment opportunities? Did they reduce or eliminate their income tax liability on the money? Do you guys get where I'm going? You have such a spectacular opportunity right now, and nobody's planning for this. Nobody. The U.S. government has 3.84 trillion in assets, and they're short. They have total debt of 108 trillion currently. That doesn't include future required debt. They don't have the money. And what's even sadder is the people that are running our country no longer have the will. So I don't care what your politics are. They're not looking after us anymore. That's what makes it so exciting to be an insurance and financial professional, because you can ask people, would you like to be in control of what happens? Here's the thing that I want to share with you that you'll be able to get. Wage statistics for 2016. If you Google it, or 2017, it'll show you what everybody in America makes. Like I can tell you, listen to this, in 2017, 205 people made more than $50 million. But what it also tells you is that 86% of America makes less than $75,000 a year. Will you help me? Ready? If you're married with 2 children and you live in one of these big city suburbs, are you rich if you make $75,000 a year? You're struggling. That's 86% of America. So when the government needs more money in the future, are they going to need more money? Ready? This is what I do with the customer. They're going to need money for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Unaffordable Care Act, Homeland Security, defense, interest on the debt, forest fires in California, lava flows in Hawaii. The highest tide ever in the history of Boston, it flooded the streets of Boston, not during a hurricane, during a snowstorm. You guys get this? You have no idea. We're going to have to move every military base in the United States that's on the coast because of the rising seawater. Where are we going to get this money, you guys? And now I'm going to really freak you out. No. Just watch. What I say to people is I say, let me ask you something. When they come and need more money in the future, are they going to be able to get it from the 90% who don't have any money? See, I know this guy here, Stas. He's rich. You guys, you want to be with Stas. If you're one of the 10% who have money, aren't they coming to get you, man? So what do you want to do? Do you want to let them come and get you, or do you want to just do a small amount of planning that allow you to be in control of how much they take? And when do you want to do it, before or after they change the laws? Did he just buy? Answer me. Did I show them an illustration? Guys, that's how simple it is. Do you want, now I'm going to really blow your minds. Do you know not one of my sales presentations is longer than 15 minutes? If it takes longer than 15 minutes, I shake their hand and say goodbye. Because if I haven't got them by 15 minutes, I'm never going to get them. And guys, here's a couple more things. California, 40 million people. Want to hear something that will blow your mind? 150,000 families, 1% of California's population pays half of their taxes. Oh, this is starting to happen everywhere. It's going to happen here in Florida. I'm going to come to something here shortly. I can't wait to get to it. I want to get to it before I run out of time. It's about Florida. More than 17 cents of each state revenue dollar goes to Medicaid. Where are the states going to get the money to deal with all of this? So, how do you show people about economics easy? Would you like to know how to do that? Please tell me yes. Please write these numbers down. This is the sale. You can show this to anybody, any age, anywhere, anytime. I do it in bars. I do it in movie theaters. I do it at baseball, football, basketball games. I ask them these questions. Ready? Everybody ready? Raise your hand if you're ready. And you want to have a blank sheet of paper, because once you have these numbers, nobody can ever argue economics with you again, ever. First number, there are 74 million baby boomers. 74 million baby boomers. And they were born between 1946 and 1964. And if you add 65 years to 1964, it says that by 2029, every baby boomer in America will be over the age of 65. Now, anybody in here over 50, raise your hands. When you're in your 50s and 60s, want to see a decade? That's a decade. When you're in your 70s, want to see a decade? That's a decade. When you're in your 80s, want to see a decade? Want to see it again? That's how fast this is. It's not way down the road somewhere. This is on us now. We don't have the money. So 74 million baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964. Every one of them will be over 65 by 2029. Second set of numbers. Generation Xers, born between 1965 and 1980. Generation Xers, 66 million of them, born between 1965 and 1980. If you had 65 years to 1980, by 2045, all of them will be over the age of 65. So please listen to me, you guys. In the next 25 years, 140 million Americans are going to turn 65. I speak in China. I've done 3 speeches in China in the last 5 years. They have 550 million baby boomers, all turning 65 over the next decade. Every single one of them. 1 out of every 7 people on planet Earth will be over the age of 65 by 2030. The whole freaking world's going to look like Florida. I've been waiting all morning to get to that. The whole world's going to look like Florida. And I don't call anybody, if you call me a senior, I'll punch you in the face. If you call me old, but you want to know how to really show me respect, call me grandma or grandpa. Grandma and grandpa are power words. I know 50-year-old beautiful women who are proud to be called grandma. No. Please, I wanted to show you, but I'm going to tell you. When my kids showed up, my son and daughter-in-law live in St. Petersburg, Florida. And they picked us, Vanessa and I, up from the airport on Saturday in the morning. And when we got there, they handed me a little bag and said, "Dad, we have a present for you." And in the bag was a hat, a Disney hat, and the hat said, "Grandpa." So I'm going to be a grandfather. Not her. my son and daughter-in-law. So my first grandchild. I'm so proud I'm busting. I don't know what to say. And now I know what all of you feel like when you talk about your grandchildren. Those are power words, grandma and grandpa. So here's the punchline. The greatest life insurance agent who's ever lived, his name was Ben Feldman. And he taught a word called juxtaposition. 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 And what he taught with juxtaposition was this. The greatest life insurance agent who's ever lived. Do you want to pay with the big check, or do you want to pay with the little check? Do you want to pay with bricks and mortar, or do you want to pay with pennies on the dollar? It was never yes or no. It was always, do you want to pay with a lot of pain, or do you want to pay with little or no pain? But you're going to pay. So what's the juxtaposition of this information I just gave you? How do you inspire somebody to take action just sharing that little bit of information? The answer is you ask them another question, right? That's the secret. Ask them another question. How many people are currently on Social Security? Isn't that interesting? Here's where you get the number from. usdebtclock.org. You could also get it from the Social Security Administration. So ssa.gov or usdebtclock.org. Okay? And here's the number. 63 million. And Social Security is going into negative cash flow now. Where do we get money for 140 million people? Are there any people under the age of 40 in the room? Raise your hand. You people are toast. Here's the new tax law under the system that's going to be necessary. You two guys. The new tax law under Donald Trump's new tax law. Ready? Line 1, how much did you make? Line 2, send it in. You two are going to be my personal income taxpayers. You two will never have a cent to your name. Do you understand? Your job is to pay to take care of me. I'm 67 years old. I'm going to be killed by a jealous husband when I'm 125. You got 60 more years to pay, baby. Not going away quietly. Now, does that sound like bad news? It does, doesn't it? Ready? Watch, I'll show you how fast you fix it. What if there was a vehicle, in spite of all of that I just told you, that you could put your money into that you'd never lose any money ever again? Every time an opportunity to make money presented itself, you could access the values in that program to take advantage of that opportunity. You could do it with reduced or total elimination of your income tax liability. You could build up protection for long-term care and things like critical illness if you had a heart attack, stroke, or cancer. And if you didn't use it, you wouldn't have wasted 1 cent of money. You only would have it available if you needed to use it. And it will supplement your retirement income tax-free. And when you're completely done using the money, you'd be able to send it to whoever you wanted, family, business, charity, free of income taxes. If you knew something like that was available for the two of you right now, when would you want to get started with something like that? When? Right now. Because they're not going to give you more opportunities. They're going to take away your opportunities. This is your chance to stay in control. That's what I sell. If you hear me all for the 2 days, control, control, control. Do Americans feel like they're losing control? Can we give them control back? We have products that allow us to do that. There's nothing that says you have to lose money. Where's that written in finance? There's nothing that says that you have to pay a lot of taxes. Where's that written in finance? It's not. But people hear they're supposed to. I can't tell you how many sales I make showing this information. It's astonishing. It's astonishing. Now I want to show you something very important. This is USA Today, everybody. June 6th, 2018. And the front page says, look at this is a big deal. See, it's even got my name on there. Van Mueller, it comes to me. You know, I get it in the mail every day. It says, the future of sports betting. That was the front page. Then it says, it's like the Korean War happened yesterday. And look at this one, Stas. It says, there they go, Miss America, your swimsuits. I won't watch the Miss America if they're not going to have a swimsuit competition. I'm like that part of it. Ready? Look at this, you guys. Page 2. In brief, not even the first column, the second column, and it's only 2 paragraphs, says that Social Security is now in negative cash flow and that Medicare is insolvent in 2026. So these were more important than talking about what's going to impact 130 million Americans? Did they talk about this in the 2018 elections? Are they talking about this in the debates? No, they're not going to talk about this because they don't have an answer for this. Only you have an answer for this. That's how amazing you people are. Here's what I want you to understand. If you leave this meeting after these next 2 days without your chest busting out with pride that you are who you are and you do what you do, then people like me failed you. This is your time. And I promise you, if you'll be here this afternoon, I will give you in writing, not today, you have to do a little work, you have to go and get them, but I'll give you the questions. I'm going to show you how the questions work. I want to make sure that you have so many appointments. I run 30 to 50 appointments. I wrote 861 apps last year, and I only worked 8 months. I'm over 800 apps for this year, and I got the rest of the year to go. And I just drive around and ask questions. So that's what I really want you guys to understand. You have an opportunity to have the best careers of your lives, save people's lives, and matter. Last thing I want to leave you with is I want to tell you a little joke. We always do not feel like we measure up to the other professionals. Both of my children are lawyers, so I know what they learned in college. Okay? I know what they learned. I work with a lot of accountants. So I want to tell you a little story if I can. There's an accountant, an attorney, a banker, and a trust officer. And they're arguing and arguing over who's going to be the most important financial advisor in the 21st century. Will it be the accountant, the attorney, the banker, or the trust officer? They argue and argue, and they can't come up with an answer. So they sit down, no kidding, and they write a letter to God. Dear God, who's going to be the most important financial advisor in the 21st century? Will it be the accountant, the attorney, the banker, or the trust officer? A week goes by, no answer. 2 weeks go by, no answer. Third week, I'm not kidding you, they get a letter in the mail from God. They tear this baby open. Here's what it says. Dear accountant, attorney, banker, trust officer, I don't think any of you are going to be that important in the 21st century. Sign God, CLU. Now, am I picking on the other professionals? I am not. Please listen to what I'm about to tell you. Accountants, attorneys, bankers, and trust officers answer questions. For the most part, they do not ask questions. You are in the perfect position at a time when nobody knows what's going to happen, when many of the people you call on don't realize all the things that they're going to have to deal with. Higher taxes, lower benefits, inflation, volatility, and the big scary one, longevity, sequence of returns, and all of these things. You think there's any people running around thinking about that stuff? And the only way they'll know to go and ask the other 4 professionals is if you share with them the questions that they should be asking. You're the most powerful people on the planet right now. You sell the greatest product that's ever been designed in the mind of a human being. It can do everything. It has flexibility. It is $1 that does the work of many dollars. It's pennies that buy dollars. If people are going to have less and less discretionary money, will they need a dollar like that? Are we going to have inflation again? You guys think they printed money in the past? You don't even know how to spell print. Printing is a form of default. The government is going to be defaulting. China will be defaulting. Europe will be defaulting. Japan will be defaulting. South America will be defaulting. I love saying defaulting. And that's called inflation. And the cash value life insurance can take pennies and buy dollars. I can offset inflation instantaneously. I can offset inflation by never losing any money, by using that values inside of that policy to take advantage of opportunities to grow their money safely without any gigantic amount of risk. Shouldn't we be doing that for the American people? Isn't this the greatest time ever? And tomorrow, tomorrow, I'll also give you some business sales ideas. So I have, how many multi-line agents in here? I promise you, this afternoon, come back. That's the very first thing that I'm going to talk about is how you can transition your entire book without harming your book to sell life insurance and annuities. Anybody be interested in that? Raise your hand if you'd be interested. Okay. So, I'm so grateful that you allowed me to spend some time with all of you. I appreciate it like crazy. I'm honored to be here. Please understand, I live by that understanding that by being in this room with all of you, I'm better. Whether you believe me or not, whether you think it's me sucking up to you, I get more out of this than you will ever get from me. So I thank all of you in advance. I'll see you this afternoon.